What's good, guys? We're going to do another video, and today this is going to be on single target DPS. I know I did touch on it in a previous video, but this is a little bit more in depth. I'm going to split it into two parts because it's going to be long AF, and that's just that. So we'll jump right in with Merida, as we normally do. We've upgraded some of the stats, some of the companions, some of the gear, so we'll go through pretty much everything. Like I say, it'll be a two-part video because it will be long. So, first and foremost, we are half orc. You could be male, female, your choice. We do not discriminate here at all. As long as you're half orc, we're pretty cool. Half orc, that's going to give you that extra critical severity, and you're going to hit that little bit harder than any other class, which is what we want. Those gains, those numbers, get it. Fighter, that's just the class that we are. That's why you've come to this video. Abilities and scores. We've gone strength is 29 for stamina regeneration, but mainly that physical damage boost, because all of our powers are physical damage, and it gives us an extra 7.3%. It's 29. That's as high as I could get the roll. Probably if I went back and tried to re-roll and sat there, we could try and get it a little bit higher with some of the gear, but that's what it is. This is what we've got. 29 strength. So definitely be wanting strength, the highest when you're rolling for your class. Second one, we went Constitution. This was previously before Mod 16 came out. This was obviously the best for a fighter. I never changed it, but it's still 21. AP gain maximum hit points, that's fine. But what we want to be concerned about is charisma, recharge speed, and companion influence. Recharge speed, obviously, because they've changed the way the cooldowns work, and we want to get them reduced as much as we can to get as much damage, get them numbers. And companion influence, because it doesn't give much of extra stats. It doesn't give 5,000 in one specific stat, but it gives a nice little bump to the majority of the stats, which is nice. This is what I've gone for, because we can get single stats up pretty high, as you'll see in a minute with Crit Strike. It's way too high, but we can put a lot of different stuff on our companion that we need, and we're going to gain the benefit across the board with companion influence as long as it's above that 20% threshold. So yeah, definitely these two. Dexterity, we try and get to 19 as well if you can, if not higher. Maybe swap these two around. Critical severity and movement speed, because we are slow. We are like snail slow. So definitely those two. Just touch on the stats. So power is uncapped, so get that as high as you can. Armor pen, 66k. Crit strike again, 66k. And accuracy again, same 66k. So we want to be over that threshold. So currently we are. Crit strike is way too high, but that's just because of some of the gear that we've got on. It will be reduced significantly when I start hitting those end game content and best in slot gear and the best, So that will be reduced. And combat advantage, we're looking for that 100k. So we're getting there. We've got companion influence 21.5. That's we're happy with that. That's a good number. Critical severity 101. Great. Plus our Vorpal, which we've got over here, which is an extra 20% on our attacks. Great. If you can get it higher, you got certain companions that give you crit severity. Definitely, stick those on, but they are expensive, and we don't have that type of dollar. We do not, unfortunately, because this would be like a 20-odd K, best in slot everything, but we don't. So we work with what we got. There's your damage, physical damage boost, and we'll touch on that in a minute. In terms of artifacts, I haven't got any of the new ones yet because they are like gold dust or expensive. But if you can, these are pretty cheap at the minute. You can pick them up. Wheel of Elements is a definite. This one you get for free, so why not? Definitely have to run a Lantern, Armor Pen, Crit, Combat Advantage, all the stats you need. Orcus set is the set that we run, so you need an Orcus Wand, Power, Crit, Avoidance, Accuracy, and Soulsight Crystal, because we are single target. This is our single target build. We need a single target artifact. Takes 20% additional damage for 10 seconds. So, yeah, definitely want to be picking up one of these. You can swap out the lantern for other artifacts if you wanted, you know, different stats, but it was free. You get it as you progress through the levels. I picked it up. Yeah, it's just one of those. We want to save as much AD as we can. Like I say, we went for the Orcus set just because, again, the new set is so expensive. Like, I'm going to take out 2 mortgages, loan, and sell a kidney to get some of the gear, but I can't because I need them. So we're stuck with this for the time being. Still good, still viable. A lot of people run it, and it's cheap to pick up at the minute. So definitely pick up a set as you can and get them leveled up. If you are going to level them up, always level up your neck first because it opens that offensive slot, whereas this is a defensive slot. So definitely always level up your neck. Main hand again, primal, just because I had the seals, it was cheap, and I don't have the new, you know, I'm not 20k to go into the new dungeon to get the new set. You can use the set that you get from the new campaign as you're leveling up and you're going through, but I just didn't see the point of putting all that refinement points into it for a similar level, similar level of damage and bonuses and this, that and the other, just to then get to 20k, run the new content, get the artifact weapons, and then do the process all again. We don't have that type of refinement points. We don't have that money to dump into that. So pick these up if you can. Cost you the seals, level them up as much as you can. You're good to go. So definitely single target, or pretty much most of the builds, get your primal set. If you can't afford, obviously, the new stuff and to level it up. Powers. I'm going to touch on powers real quick. So our main at will is going to be heavy slash. Deal physical damage to target enemy. It's magnitude 100. Increases damage dealt by 5%. That's from our. Let's have a look. That's from this. So let's have a look here. Manage art. Oop. Where are you? Where are you? There we go. Enchanted Heavy Slash. Increase the damage done by Heavy Slash by 10%. It's a no-brainer. You know, it's our main at will. So, get it on if you can. Only cost you 4 of these. I'm not going to unlock any more because I don't need them. Enhanced Heavy Slash. Deal an extra 10% damage. Definitely. For your shield, let's go on this one here. Critical severity. 10% crit severity. Again, why would you not want that? I mean, you could go action point or companion influence if they're unlocked and you can't afford to unlock any more. But if you can, here you can see I had to spec. Literally, it was the last one that I unlocked as usual because that's just the way this game works. Because it doesn't like me. Yeah, crit severity. If you can, get it. If not, stick with your action point or companion influence. And then this one again, I've gone for the power because we're pretty much maxed out on most of the stats here, so power is definitely the one to grab. Again, if you can't afford it, don't worry about it. Choose a stat. You know, if you roll one, you get armor pen, stick with it, it's fine, because you're trying to get to that 66k. Even if you're a little bit over, it's still fine. It's always worth having that extra couple of thousand buffer, just in case. But yeah, if you can, power, definitely. So back to powers. Main one, heavy slash, all day long. Second one is Reeve, just because it's, you know, it delivers a twofold range attack to enemies in the line before you. It's just to clear the trash when you get into the bosses and you can't be bothered because you're lazy like me to switch to an AoE build because I'm just lazy. So it's one of them really. You can choose, you know, like cleave if you really wanted to, but it's magnitude 25 compared to 30. Just we'll stick with Reeve. Thank you. So, encounter powers. Single target. First one is Commander Strike. Deal physical damage to target enemy. It's 400 magnitude. Increases target's vulnerability to physical damage by 5% for 10 seconds. This is a must. This is your bread and butter. Get it on. That's going to be your first button you click. Commander Strike, which lends nicely into Griffin's Wrath. Now, someone did point out in the previous video, it is 3 attacks, so you've got to click the button 3 times, so thank you for that. You know who you are. Yeah, this is your second one. It's, again, physical damage. Everything's physical damage, and you're dealing at 840 with the combo, so it's, the combined. And then last but not least is Anvil of Doom. This is your heavy hitter. Deal physical damage to target if the vengeance gauge is above 25. Damage is enhanced, and 25 vengeance is consumed, which is fine because we always have vengeance. As you'll see going through the video, it's pretty much either at full 70, it's always above 50%, so that's great. We're getting those heavy hits. Dailies, I've gone for Mowdown as your primary, so this is your single target, heavy hitting, the hardest hitting one we've got. Delivers a twofold attack to target enemy, dealing physical damage each hit, 1,600, and it's a knock effect. So, it can cancel some bosses' attacks. It'll knock them down. It'll just cancel it out, which is good if you can time it right as well. Shockwave just to get rid of the trash in the little ads as we're walking through the dungeon. You can put Shaker, but it does more damage, so we just stick with Shockwave. Choose it as of when you need it. It's good because it's a knockback as well. You're getting swamped by a bunch of enemies. You got it ready, pop it, knock them back, use a potion, get out of there, let someone else deal with it. Class features, we got combat superiority because it is a must. Whenever you activate an encounter or daily power, increase the damage dealt by your at-will attacks by 10%. Duration is 10 seconds. Basically, it's our bread and butter of class features again. You activate an encounter power or your daily power and increase your at-will by 10%. So what you're going to do is your rotation is if you're quick enough, if you can get them in. Commander Strike, at-will, Griffins, 3 times, at will, Anvil of Doom, and that increases obviously your damage done by this by 10%, which is again increased by these, so it's hitting quite hard. If I'm honest, it's hitting quite hard. And yeah, it's just a no-brainer, definitely. If you need, no, not even if you need the rest of them, stick it on. That's it. This is the video. Stick it on. The next one is Enduring Vengeance. Every 10 seconds your vengeance gauge is above 50%, you gain a stack of Enduring Vengeance, increasing your damage dealt by 1%. This is stacks 5 times. Effect ends when your vengeance gauge drops below 50%, which it pretty much never does. As long as we're doing the right rotation, we're getting it down, we're in combat, it will not drop below 50%. So we're always going to be stacking that vengeance to get those gains, get those numbers. So yeah, definitely that is a staple go-to. If you need survivability until you get to that level, you can choose some of the others, but those are the 2 for single target DPS. Feats. Weight of Vengeance grants Anvil of Doom the effect of dealing an additional 300 magnitude and consuming 25% vengeance. We don't worry about the consuming 25 because it's pretty much, again, like I say, always above 50%. So we're getting those extra, we're getting that extra damage and deal damage by 10%. So we're pretty much we've always got it. It's always 50% or more. So that's a go-to. Ricochet. This is a tough one because both of them aren't really for single target, if I'm honest. Prepared Slam, to get the best out of it, you've got to run heavier slash, and then obviously you've got heavy slash, but they're mainly AoE. We want this, so we're going for Ricochet. Reason being, like I say, we want this one to get the best out of these. It's just not worth it. So we're on Ricochet. When you're running through, if you can't be bothered changing to an AoE setup like me, because again, I just can't be bothered. Stick shield throw in there, one of them, change your Griffin's Wrath to shield throw, and you do quite a lot of damage if I'm honest. It's a bit of a heavy hitter, and it chains it, so you'll hit multiple targets. So yeah, it's pretty good. This one, Roiling Hatred. Whenever you Whenever you critically strike and your vengeance gauge is at least 50% full, restore 5 vengeance. We crit strike a lot, like a lot. So, and it's, you know, we're always going to be getting that 5 vengeance. So you'll see in a minute, I'll do a quick one. Attacking the dummy, a rotation. Although our meter drains, because we're crit striking that much and we're hitting it that much, we're gaining more than we're losing. So say we're gaining 8 or 10 vengeance, but we're losing 5. So, you know, it works out that we gain more than we lose, which is what we need. Striker's Mark grants Modown the effect of dealing 2000 magnitude damage if the target is affected by Commander Strike. Commander Strike is removed. Now, that works really well. The rotation I like to use with that is I'll walk him. When it's ready, I will Commander Strike at will, just to get that added little, because you've got 10 seconds basically on the Commander Strike. So Commander Strike at will, and we're getting our bonuses obviously, because now we're getting 10% off that because we've used an encounter power, 10% on this as well, an extra 5%, and then pop your Modown, because it's still going to add on because you're still in that 10-second threshold. So Modown is still going to get that 2000 extra damage, 2000 extra magnitude, sorry, and you've also snuck in a bit of a heavy slash. So you're going to hit him with a haymaker, and at the same time you're just going to give him a little poke and a little jab with your heavy slash. So that's the rotation I'd use for that. And then obviously your Griffin's Wrath and then the rest of it, and then reset your rotation. Execution is cut whenever you attack an enemy with less than 30% hit points, deal 50 magnitude additional damage and restore 3 vengeance. Again, it's all about restoring the vengeance and dealing more damage. We want the gains, we want the numbers. This is what's going to give it us. You know, I've spoken to a few people and they do prefer to run this, but the way our build is set up, you know, we rarely drop below 50%. And then if we do drop below 50%, you know, whenever you use an encounter power, set your vengeance gauge to 75, but you use an encounter power, you crit, you're back over 50% instantly. Like, it's not worth it. I'd rather that extra 30%, extra 50 magnitude damage when it's below 30%, and on top of that, we're gaining vengeance. So, definitely no-brainer. Part 2, we will cover boons, companions, and mounts. But here for rotation-wise, also, I picked up this. This was from Call to Arms. I think, yeah, Call to Arms. You let forth, you know, you blast, blah, blah, increasing your action point regeneration by 33% and your power by 4,000 for 60 seconds. Whenever you take damage, the remaining cooldown on your alliance Battlehorn is reduced by 1 second. This effect may only trigger once every second. Basically, it's free power and regeneration. So, I know it's a bit of a pain sticking your shield up, but if you time it right to get to a boss, you can have your vengeance meter full just by the ads. If not, what I like to do is I'll get to the campfire or the door ready, and it takes 5-6 seconds, goes up to full, you're vengeful, open the door, you're ready to go straight off the bat, so you're not stood there at the boss waiting like we did in the last video. So obviously, pop your horn, pop your thing, hit them. 1, 2, 3, and your anvil of doom. 16,400, and that's your rotation. That's your main rotation, and then we just keep obviously using your at will, and you can see on the right, the vengeance gauge. See how it's going down, and every time you crit, it goes up quite significantly. So you're never going to drop below that 25%. So we've got our daily here. So we'll do a quick rotation on that. So again, we're above that 50%. We're vengeful. We're going to deal quite a bit of damage. So we're going to Commander Strike at will, and then hit them with both of those. You know, 30,000, 18,000. You're hitting quite hard. Single target wise, we are pretty up there with a lot of other classes, especially if you have best in slot. I know some classes we're not top dog, not top DPS. We do what we can, but I tell you what though, we do pretty well. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I'm beating a lot of people that are 20k, 21k. Even in AoE, like I say, I'm lazy. I don't switch my powers. And what I do is I'll just go for these. So, shield slam, shield throw, and onslaught. Like this is still the same single target build. Obviously, we'd get more damage if we switched to an AoE build, but hit him with one of them, everything's knocked down. Hit with that, and you see how it's critted and chained all there. And then we just go, and even that setup is quite a lot of damage. Yeah, so I'll do a video on the AoE build if you do, if you have time and you can be bothered swapping out. Definitely do it because AoE is quite good, if I'm honest. Yeah, knock back, shield. And you see all like the shield throw critted on all of them there, all 4 of them. And each time you crit, you're going to get that vengeance meter up. You're going to get that additional damage. But yeah, that's that. Second video, we'll go over Doom companions and mounts. So stay tuned for that. And that was the first part of the single target DPS build. If you want to see anything, if you think you could put this in there, put that in there, let me know. It's mainly getting those stats and your ability score up. But go with what you can get. Ask any questions if you want. Let me know. Subscribe, comment, and yeah, cheers for watching. Thank you.